Stereo Police. And this should be a rather quick update. Relatively speaking. It's a frigid, snowy night here in central Virginia. Got some snow today. It's beautiful. I wish I could show you, but it is nighttime. I'm checking out some channels on my rapidly on my way to in development of the 2021 YouTube Audio Personality Academy Awards. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I'm going to separate reviewers, equipment reviewers, from non-reviewers. They're just totally separate. Can't rate them on the same categories. But as I'm checking out a few channels and searching, you know, watching a few channels I had never seen before and checking out a few of the more organic, homegrown channels, it's been really edifying. I really love seeing people who are passionate about the hobby. Real people. Real, genuine, intelligent, passionate people. Not people hawking products. Not people trying to divert you to their separate sites. Not people trying to sell you their tchotchkes. People just sharing the passion that they have for the hobby. I'm smoking a cigar. I don't smoke cigarettes or anything else. This just happens to be a cigar. Sorry about the smoke. The wind's blowing in the wrong direction. I fucked up the trajectory tonight. Can't drink much anymore because of my vertigo. I don't do anything else but caffeine, so I gotta enjoy something in life. Don't do any drugs. Nothing. I'm a virtual monk, so I got to do something. Got to have a cigar every now and then. Other than caffeine and Advil, there's nothing else I do. I got to have a cigar. So let me give you a... I'm checking out a bunch of channels and just want to give you sort of a... And I want to update you on something I'm doing this weekend. I feel like... I've been a non-contributor over my last several rant videos. I've been a big baby, so I need to move on and be a better contributor. So this weekend, given that it's a long weekend for me, I happen to have Monday off, fortunately, and fortunately I don't have any honey-do list items. At least not yet. It could be coming down the pike, but as of this Thursday I have none yet. On Saturday I'm going to check out my baby, my 1985 Power Ram D150 4x4, which is being worked on by my mechanic my mechanic sent to me from fucking Mount Sinai. I love this guy. Man, I love, love, love people who are incredibly skilled at their trade. This guy is amazing. I'm excited about that. And then after that's over with, I'm going to get on with something I've been meaning to do for a while. It's a review of my beloved, or is it beloved? I'll say beloved Technics SL1200 GR turntable. I'm going to do a pretty thorough review of that this weekend. I'm going to spend the whole weekend doing, not the whole weekend, but a good chunk of the weekend doing it. I'm already prepping for it. I'm going to break down what I have and rebuild it as if I'm setting it up from scratch. I'm going to walk you through the setup, explain to you all the features. Forgive me. It is very cold out here. Woof. I know I say that every video, but it's true. I'm relegated to the to outside when I'm smoking these cigars, so it's just what I have to deal with. So I'm looking forward to being a positive contributor once again. It's like that great Frank Zappa album Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. I'm going to shut up and get back to a review. And but also, getting back to what I was initially saying, I want to commend to you a video to watch if you haven't seen it. I found it very interesting, edifying, fascinating. Caused me to reminisce. And then I want to also commend to you a couple of organic channels that I was checking out. I think both of these folks have commented on, at least one of them has commented on some of my videos, but in turn, I think both of them have, but in turn I've went to check out their channels, and I really like these guys because they are passionate and they're the real deal. So let me start out with commending to you a video to watch. Now, I'm an old guy. I'm from back in the day. My formative years were the late 70s, early 80s. And I remember the receiver wars. The great receiver wars. Those were that was the good kind of war. Those were the days. I used to go into the stores. Back in Northern Virginia, we had Evans, Best, Bell, Montgomery Ward. Who else had? Oh, we had Meyer Emco, Audio Associates. We had Hex, or the Heck Company. We had a whole host of stores that had audio departments. and they all carried these monster ass receivers. From Sansui to Techniques, or back then I called them Techniques. One day, many moons later, I actually read the fucking name of it, and it looked like Technics. I don't know. Not quite sure. But anyway, the name of the video is Oops-a-daisies. I'm looking at my tablet here and I pulled up the wrong one. Here we go. The name of the video, I'm going to turn my camera around so you can see it, but because it's a front-facing camera, I don't know where the damn camera is. I think it's over here. I'll see if I can find it. It's on a channel called Just Audio. J-U-S-T Audio. And the name of the video is called Stereo Wars, like Star Wars. Stereo Wars, quote, the hi-fi receiver wars of the 1970s, end quote. Can you see that? I'm going to scan it so you can see it. It's a good watch. It really, really brings back memories. Those receiver wars. Some of those receivers were just works of art. Beautiful, beautiful pieces. You know, those were just status symbols also back in the day. I just remember going into those stores, and I was a kid at the time, and you know, I had jobs. I had cut grass, I had paper routes, but you know, I could only afford portable radios. To have something like that, you know, I just would go in there, and I think I'd probably mentioned this in previous videos, but would take those big dials for the tuner and go to one end, go to the left side, and give them a big turn and watch the tuner dial just glide down there, because they had flywheels, you know. Glide, oof, you know, and the VU meters and the lights and all the buttons and the low pass filters and the high pass filters. And you know, for those of us who are passionate about the hobby, that was just woof. You know, how do we get wired for this stuff, you know? What is it about? What is it that wires some of us to really get passionate about this as opposed to something else? You know, some people are, you know, like cars, and some people like aquariums, and some people like cameras, and some people like building ships in bottles, and I don't know. But we're into audio. It's all good, man. But I commend to you this video. Now, let me get on to the two homegrown organic channels, such as my own. We non-professionals that try to contribute in our own way. We who have no masters. No one pulls our strings. We blaze our own trails. We do our own things. We don't let our ratings guide us. We don't have manufacturers providing us with their tchotchkes and trinkets to peddle. And we don't give a rat's tail what people think. We do our own thing. And we're passionate about what we do. These are homegrown organic channels, and I love them. And you can learn a lot from these folks. And I just love seeing these guys who are passionate about the hobby and that blaze their own trails and do their own thing. And it also reminds me of one other thing. And you know what I'm going to do before I tell you what it reminds me of, because just lest I forget that I even mentioned these guys. And this is two amongst many, but let me mention let me mention their names first, because I'm prone to rambling. The first one is Real World Audio. Hopefully you can see that. If not, I'm going to tell you. It's a channel called Real World Audio. He's a good guy. Check him out. The second is a channel hold on a second. Called My Own Devices. I hope you can see that. My Own Devices. That is a really, really good name for a channel. It's kind of a, would you call that a double entendre? Double entendre. I don't know if you meant it to be a double entendre, but it is. He talks about his own devices, but he's left to his own devices. Cool, man. What a great name. I like well thought out names. This is a great, this guy, passionate about what he does. Love his stuff. Good dude. Check out that channel. It's channels like this and others like this that make this cesspool of shit called YouTube worthwhile. Sorry, man, I cuss sometimes. It's just the way I am. But you guys are awesome. And there's more I'm going to mention in the future. My Own Devices and Real World Audio. Two great channels to go check out. And it also reminds me that, well, I have an audience now. My wife just came out on the porch. Say hi, honey.
Hi, honey. I just came out to smoke a cigarette. I'm not an audience.
It also reminds me, with these guys, watching these guys and their channels, and their homegrown organic channels, that you can enjoy audio gear, vintage audio gear on a budget that sounds fantastic, and you don't need that ultra high-end eye candy that some of these guys have been talking about recently or trying to peddle. You can find your own happiness in the stuff you have, or in the stuff you can find used, or in the junk store, or in the stuff that you find and rebuild yourself, which is a lot more satisfying. You've seen me do that with a few speakers I bought, especially those I think it was those JBLs that I purchased, which I need to bring out of mothballs. Those JBL theater speakers, fantastic. They cost next to nothing, and boy, they sound great. I've got so many speakers down there I need to bring out of mothballs, but man, they sound great. And it just reminds me so much of that. How much satisfaction you can get out of this hobby just by doing things yourselves or on a budget. And it also reminds me, and I'm going to wrap this up because my hands are getting cold. It makes me really, really wonder what point that at what point the point of diminishing returns becomes ultra exponential, or I should say ultra logarithmic, where it really pinches off. It's really not exponential, it's logarithmic. If you look at a logarithm plotted out, that's what diminishing returns looks like. Look at a logarithm base 10. And look at the ordinate and the abscissa. Look at the x-axis and the y-axis. And consider the x-axis the money you have to put into your system. The ordinate. And look at the y-axis. And that's going to be the return in sound quality. Now, at what point, if you look at that logarithm, when you see that curve getting really pinched off with very little on the return, I venture to say that's not much. Well, it's gonna depend device to device, but it really makes me wonder. Now, if you switch that logarithm over to the x-axis being dollar value and the y-axis being pleasure, not sound quality, but being pleasure, that's a whole different question to ask. That's a lot more subjective. That's a whole different question to ask. And that's what really ought to be asked. That's really what that talking head should have been asking and should have been discussing the other day. It's really much more of a stimulating conversation. Much more engaging. Much more of a thought experiment. There's so many fascinating ways to look at things. But interlocutor fucked it up. But I say, you look at these two guys, My Own Devices, Real World Audio, and others like them, and man, you don't need any of that stuff. And it's really making me question everything I've been doing. I bought those massive piles of junk called Klipschorns. Topic for another day, my friends. My tips of my fingers are so freaking cold, I'm going in. Hey, it's been a pleasure talking with you tonight. I'm glad I could get something out. Looking forward to doing that review this weekend on my Technics turntable. Hoping to start producing positive contributions again real soon. Thanks for sticking with me. Listen, man, it's all in fun. I like having fun. My videos are really, it's just, you don't know me, but it's really my sense of humor. It's really my sense of humor. It really is. It's not mean-spirited. It really isn't. I love you guys. I love all of you. Even Interlocutor. Love you too. You guys are awesome. Ciao.